Hello, and welcome to the MySpace podcast. I'm your host, Miley, and today I will be reviewing the book Earth's End by Elise Kova. Let's get into this, shall we? That was a really just slow, yeah. So this is book 3 of the Awakens series. Rating it. So I give this book a 9 out of 10. And the reasons are... I was getting really annoyed by the Emperor. It was just it was just repetition of him just wanting to bring Valhalla down a peg and stop her from gaining power with the lords that were there and stuff. Oops, I hit the mic. With the lords that were at their little camp there for the fight. The war camp. There we go. And sometimes Aldrich has the power to stop his father from doing these things, and sometimes he doesn't. But this whole time though, it'll be at first he doesn't and he can't stop his father, but then a second later he can. And it gets a little confusing because then especially what happened later at the end of this book. Then I was also annoyed at the not really amazing explanation of Valhalla's feelings. She had some conflicting feelings, but you never actually know what the differences between those feelings are, because there are differences, and she states, she's like, I don't feel this way about this person, but you don't, in the moments, you don't see that difference, so then you're just it really just feels like you feel the same. So I was like, I don't know what's going on. And I also understand, because part of it was just the comfort of knowing that there's someone by your side and whatnot, but it was getting really annoying. I'm like, I don't know how you feel. I need a better explanation. But also, I'm bad at explaining my own feelings, so I can't really get that angry. Other than that, I liked it. Everything was good. Except I hate that ending. How could that happen, even though I knew it was gonna come? Actually, I didn't know it was gonna come, but I should have. This book was good enough to where I didn't want to continue at one point in fear of what would happen next. So I was but I continued reading, but I was I don't want to know. I don't want to go there. Yeah, so, just that ending. This author, I think she wrote another part in where I thought, it was gonna have a big impact on the ending, or what was gonna happen next. But it didn't, and I think that took my focus away from the other big thing that was staring me right in the eye, and I should have been able to see, so I didn't think about it. So then it just hits you and you're like, no, well, how could you do this to me? So yeah, that's what I'm dealing with. And now I really want to see what happens next. But gotta finish this first, and then do some other things in life, and then I'll start reading, Okay, plot/storyline. So this is honestly kind of short for all that happened, but also at the same time, not a lot happened, but also I can't tell you the ending because it gives away what happens, So yeah. So from what we know from the end of the second book is that Aldrich has fallen to his death. Turns out he's not dead yet. He's just dying, and Valhalla is basically what's keeping him alive. So she's kind of got two lives that she's trying to keep alive, hers and his. So, but their camp is running out of supplies, and Aldrich is too unstable to move, so she decides to run through the north to get to the Imperial Army so that they can send the group medical supplies as well as food. So all that they need. Also, I didn't mention this, but Elise is a healer and needs these supplies to get Aldrich stable so that they can move him. You're welcome. I basically just restated what I said, didn't I? Yeah, it's okay. So, through a lot of stuff, which only took like a chapter, she gets to the Imperial Army and they send the supplies to the camp. Also, by doing this, she's going against the order of the Emperor. And I feel like a part of him has to be like happy or like at least be like grateful that she does this, but his just attitude toward her after this just gets worse and worse and worse. So, oof. Anyways, so they make it to the group makes it back to the Imperial Army. Aldrich is doing better, but he hasn't woken up yet, and Alicia is scared that he's just not. So Valhalla is like, I'll save him. He's like, I'll do it because they're joining bond thing. It's a lot. Don't really know what's going on there. But before this, the Emperor does a little of his, like, you do what I say or I'll kill you. So he's like, death or death. It's basically what it is. It's death. Not, you don't get your freedom anymore. He basically took her freedom away from her. He's like, you're not getting it back. But also, like, she should have been. The whole thing was that after she serves her duty of finishing the war, then she gets her freedom. But then he was also like, you're not getting your freedom. You're just gonna die anyways. And you know, if this is gonna happen again, most likely. Maybe. So, yeah. We all know it. That man just gets worse and worse. He starts out okay, then just you know, just worsens. Valhalla gets Aldrich to wake up. And then from then on, Aldrich is honestly more open about his affections towards her. When out in public, of course. He gets more like, it's more noticeable now. And part of his reason for it is that it's to protect Valhalla and make it harder for his father to kill her, because he's trying to get people to like her and want her to become a lady, so that the lords and majors will be like, make her a lady and whatnot, so then his father will have to do it. And also to make people be scared to touch her in any way. She still has to do the job she's forced there to do, you know? She still has to do it, even if she hates it. Valhalla has to deal with the Emperor literally just hating her. Like I said, he doesn't like her, and he tries to make her life difficult, but Aldrich is good at making it less difficult or whatnot. And then the final battle happens, and after that is that ending, which just, yeah, oh, it's just crazy. Characters, starting off with Valhalla. Honestly, her life was a bit better than it had been for her in this one, which is kind of crazy, thinking about how the Emperor just has treated her throughout this whole book. But it seemed just a little bit better, and that's where I should have seen that things were about to go downhill at the end of this book. Or, yeah. She did have to struggle with some confusing feelings towards another person, which I've talked about in this book, and I've talked about in another book, so you know exactly who I'm talking about. But she never really actually said what she was feeling. From what she did kind of say is that it was just she felt more safe and comfort in this person while she was going through a lot, and then this person was there for her when Aldrich was like dying. She was also slightly dealing with Aldrich in this book, because he was just going through things. He had things going on, and yeah. We also rarely saw her friends. Like, she was rarely ever with her friends. She was with him a lot. I was gonna say something. Anyways, she also slightly became more of the monster the senators wanted her to be. But more than that, she became this figurehead for the people in the army. She became someone for them to look up to, and she's just this whole person that they're like, oh, she's like kind of like their goddess in a way, you know? I don't think I have anything else for her. I may later on. Aldrich. So, throughout this book, he's way more protective of her, like way more protective of Valhalla. He's also more open about his feelings towards her. He's allowing that affection that he feels for her to be more seen and open to people. However, he also hid more from Valhalla. There was a lot of things he was hiding, and he lied to her, and he was just going through a lot. He has been like his whole life. And Valhalla was like trying to get him to open up, but he didn't want to open up, and then she just kind of left it be. She did kind of try to make him change a bit, but that didn't really particularly work that well when you see the end of the book. We did get some insights into his past, but mostly it was just more on what we already knew from the other two books, but also it didn't tell you more, it just told you some new things, I guess. He also got more volatile in this book. Like, as these books progresses, he gets a little more volatile. It's like his father. His father just gets worse. He gets a little more. They're going together. But one of them is nicer and actually likes her. Well, is in love with her. So, I can't wait to see what happens in the next book with him, because that ending, ooh, I gotta know. Other characters, apart from the main ones. Starting with Prince Balder, because I realized that I hadn't talked about him yet. So, at least I don't think I have. I may have, I just have some more now. I don't really remember what I've done about the other two. That's kind of bad on my part. So he's called the Heartbreaker Prince. So basically, like, every girl loves him and he's a playboy. I feel like I remember saying that before. Anyways, he kind of blames himself for some of the things going wrong between him and his brother, but not all of them are his fault. The bigger things are not his fault. Maybe more smaller things, though. He cares for Valhalla and Aldrich. He cares a lot about Valhalla. He'll protect her. Like, he'll protect Valhalla. That, from what I've seen, he cares about her and he'll protect her from his brother. Yeah. Anyways, on to other characters, the newer ones. Jax. So, Jax is the or a major of the Black Legion. I don't really remember. I don't know if it is of the Black Legion. He's at least somewhat friends with Aldrich. He became friends with Valhalla, and they kind of have this understanding with each other about how they both have to. They're both loyal and have to follow the Emperor, even if he makes them do things that they don't want to do, and that goes against who they are and their morals. But they have to, and that kind of becomes an understanding between them that they never like talk about, but like it's with the eyes, you know. He's also one of the more funny but hardened characters, so he makes a lot of jokes, but also he's gone through a lot. Another one is, I believe his name is Lord Arion, maybe it's Erion, maybe. I don't have it in front of me, but he's another one. He's a Lord of the West, and he stands by Valhalla on everything. Now, on to the power system, because I forgot that that I hadn't talked about it, and I usually talk about these things with fantasy books. So, there are 4 affinities. These are the powers, the main powers. So you have Firebringers, Water Runners, Groundbreakers, and Windwalkers. Valhalla is a Windwalker. Aldrich is a Firebringer. So each affinity also has like a region of the world where their powers favor the people in those regions more. So like Windwalkers are from the east, Groundbreakers from the north. I believe Water Runners are more from the south, and Firebringers are more from the west. I think those two could be switched, but I think that's what it is. Each person also has, I guess, they have their own unique other affinity that goes with the main one they have, but I could be wrong. I'm not really sure, honestly. I'm kind of confused. Like Valhalla has projection, where basically she can make an invisible projection of herself and spy on people. Yeah. Groundbreakers have healing, water runners have illusions, and I think Firebringers are that they have the ability to see into the future and, like, make predictions and stuff. But I'm not completely sure about that. And I'm also not sure that everybody has a unique ability. Everyone who has the power has. I don't know. There is also magical sight. So some people have magical sight where basically they can see the world, but in magic, I guess. Valhalla has that. And also basically it's just for who has magic, it's basically just the world chooses who gets these powers. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just whoever. Random people get it, basically. There are also these crystals that basically, in a way, gave people powers, but also didn't at the same time. I don't really know what's going on. That's going to come up later, though, so I may know more later. But also, like, if you touch these crystals, you can go crazy and become evil, or something like that. I'm not really sure. That's just something. But I think Windwalkers are immune to them. Valhalla is also the first Windwalker in centuries, because years before everyone had killed off the Windwalkers. That's called the Burning Times. People were scared of them for some reason. I don't really know why. Oh yes, and the Firebringers are definitely from the West. Just remember that. So yeah. Spoilers now, I guess. Yes. Spoilers. Yes. So, Aldrich actually proposes to Valhalla in this book, and he's like, when this is over and my father makes you a lady and I become emperor, I'm gonna make you my empress. I'm gonna marry you. Well, like, yay, this is gonna go great. And then Valhalla does a little something where she goes and steals a crystal weapon. There's crystal weapons. They're powerful and power the gods or whatnot. And that's what I thought something bad was gonna happen. That didn't. Nothing has come of that yet. It's going to later though, definitely. So then after the battle, which they won, Valhalla is kind of like, things are good, things are okay. But then while they're getting the North surrendering terms, getting all that down, that's when things go wrong. So the Emperor has, it turns out, really been one step ahead of them this whole time. And for Valhalla to get her freedom and ladyship, Aldrich basically gives up his own freedom and is kind of forced into marrying the chieftain of the North's daughter, which of course breaks up Valhalla and Aldrich, and they were engaged. Just his father doesn't really care about that. So that doesn't really go down well, and Valhalla and Aldrich have this whole fighting match in front of Balder. Oh, and they don't really mean the words that they're saying, but it sounds like it and it feels like it to each other, and like they can tell that the other doesn't really mean the words, but like it feels, but they like need to say it so that they can both break and that they won't go back to each other and blah 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 blah. Oh my, sorry. Oof. And then Aldrich accidentally hits Valhalla. He was aiming for his brother, but I think it was her plan to get hit, because it was to get Aldrich to like finally realize what he was doing and to stop. So after that, Valhalla's all like, I'm leaving. And she walks out. She says goodbye to Fritz and Daniels. And she actually means she's leaving. She has something to do. We don't know what it is though. She leaves. But she does promise them that they will see each other again. She promises that to Fritz and Daniel. And that's about it. And she dips out. She's like, bye. And then also at the end of these books, we get this like kind of like a snippet of the next book. It's kind of like a summary, not a summary, but kind of, and it's gonna be fun to see what happens, because Aldrich is also so just, after he hit Valhalla, his eyes were so open that he was like, no, don't leave. He was like, ugh. And then, so knowing that she's left now and he has no idea where she is, I'm honestly so excited. But also not, I'm like, I don't want to know what's gonna happen next, because this is just not gonna go well. Anyways, so I'll have to go read that next book to see what happens, because things are about to go down, guys. Things are about to happen. It's gonna be crazy. I don't know what's happening. Before this light has the time to fall again, and I will probably cut out most of the times that it fell. I did that from the last video because I looked. We'll see how I look when I get scared. If I feel, or I may just like keep it in. Anyways, thank you for watching and listening, and have a good rest of your day, night, week, month, year, life. Thank you and goodbye.